What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 119 of the Lumbar Trucking Show. Thank you all once again for being here. As always, you can tune into the Lumbar Trucking Show every Tuesday on the iHeartRadio network for Wreaths Across America. And again, we are raising money for Wreaths Across America here at the Lumbar Trucking Show. You can donate to honor America's veterans at www.wreathsacrossamerica.org/lumbar. Great. I've been really looking forward to going into this episode, talking through my time doing the 75 Hard program throughout the entire spring. I've had a lot of support along the way, a lot of people asking questions along the way, and I knew I had to go live and talk about it because it's something when you go through something like 75 Hard or any program for that matter. This could be anybody who's possibly dealing with sobriety or who have overcome any sort of kind of mental challenge in life. These people always end up being like just an enigma of wisdom is the best way I can put it. People who go, because really, like, being sober or somebody who goes to AA, somebody's probably gone through some stuff and they're overcoming it. And anytime people can overcome a challenge, I always think it's worth talking to them. And then doing this challenge, I think it's worth talking about because there's a lot I learned that I didn't know about myself from doing it. So, let's dive right into it. Before we get rolling, gotta give a quick shout out and plug to the sponsors over at Super Coffee. If you don't know, Super Coffee is a sponsor here at the Lumbar Trucking Show, and they offer a low-calorie, no added sugar option for your caffeinated desires, for all your caffeinated heart desires. They have a coffee beverage along with an energy drink. We're talking that coffee beverage has 70 calories with 10 grams of protein. Really can't beat that macro to that calorie to protein ratio, especially when it has 150 milligrams of caffeine. So more than coffee, less calories than if you're adding cream and sugar to a regular cup of coffee, and just all around better for you. No garbage ingredients. There's a lot that goes into it. The energy drink itself, 130 calories. You compare that to the Java Monsters that are really popular out there. There's just no competition. And we know, as we talk about a lot on the show, Lumbar Trucking Show is where we talk great fitness, fun, and more. One of the biggest steps you can do to benefit your overall health is to reduce your caloric intake. A lot about that in one of the books I read during 75 Hard, which I will touch on. It's Outlived by Peter Attia, which is very well researched on what calorie restriction can do. Super Coffee aids in that. You can go get some Super Coffee right now on Amazon using the code LUMBAR20 20% off. But let's get right into it. So for anybody who doesn't know, and if you have any questions along the way, just feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll get to them as I can. So 75 Hard is a 75-day long. It's not a challenge. It's not a fitness challenge. It is overall a mental, it's more of a mental fitness program, so to speak. And it's actually a part of what is a year-long process of the Live Hard program. There are other phases outside 75 Hard that go along with it. 75 Hard is sort of like the kickstart. So let's break it down. What is 75 Hard? We've got the rules up right here, and got to give a quick plug to the guy himself who started First Form. His name's Andy Frisella. You can check out his show Real AF wherever you get your podcasts. It's really good, especially for those who are into, if you're into entrepreneurial content and all that sort of stuff. He's got a lot of good content out. But so for 75 days, there's a couple rules you need to follow. You need to follow a structured diet. 2, you need to do 2 45-minute workouts a day. 1 must be outside. 3, drink a gallon of water every day. 4, read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. 5, take a progress picture. Those are the exact things you need to do every single day for 75 days. Now let's break them down one by one. What did I do? So the structured diet I have. So I use the First Form health and fitness app to track my macros. I used it while I was over the road. Probably one of the best tools out there that you can use if you're trying to hone in on your diet, on your nutrition, to know what you're getting. I had mentioned this in previous episodes, where if you're looking to make a lifestyle change with your habit, it's just like making a budget. You can't save for money, or you can't save for something, or you don't really know that much about your finances until you find out how much you make, how much you spend. Just like if you're making a business, if you're underwriting a business, you need to know what are your expenses, what's your planned revenue, and how are you going to make money from there. So it's the same kind of thing with your diet. You need to find out how many calories you take in, what your output is, finding your resting metabolic rate, and then finding what your output is via exercise, how much walking you get. And then from there, you can kind of figure out what you should and should not be eating and when you should be eating, stuff like that. So I use the 1st Phorm Health and Fitness app. On that app, you can work with an advisor on there. Gentleman I work with, his name is Sean, great guy. He also happens to be a certified nutritionist. I had game planned with him, letting him know, hey, I'm going to start 75 hard. These are my current macros. This is my plan on what I plan on doing for activity. This is how many steps I get per day, because things have changed since I've been over the road. I do get more steps per day than when I was over the road. I still definitely got 10,000 steps a day when I was over the road, between when I incorporated walking, piecing it together where I was, going for runs. But there are days now where my step count can be anywhere from 15 to 25,000 steps a day. Coaching, I spend a lot of time on my feet. I'm very lucky, picking things up, putting them down. So my job, description is kind of changed. Flatbedding, obviously, I was definitely a little bit more mobile, throwing a lot more chains, throwing a lot of straps. Definitely had a little bit more physically, was more physically demanding. Chaining down those ACs in Laredo and a $110, doing that about a year ago right now. So, my activity level there was different than doing dry band. But so I game planned with him what it should be. So he calculated what my calories should be, so what my calories, proteins, carbs, and fats should be. For anybody out there just starting, carbs and fats aren't really anything you need to pay attention to too much. Again, I was talking about this online the other day. People villainize carbs a lot, and sugar. And just like with talking about super coffee earlier, it's not the sugar and the carbohydrates themselves that are inherently bad. It is the calories that can come with them and the quantity in which you consume sugar and carbohydrates. And I'll get into why the carbohydrates are not the problem in a minute, especially as I go into what my weight loss was. So I got with him on what my diet should be, and essentially following a structured diet. So having my macros calculated and knowing I need to hit that calorie and protein goal specifically per day. And more so, I definitely honed in on the carbs because of what my training and what my workout routines were. So my calories were calculated about 2850, my protein at 215 grams a day. Now with that, there's also one of the rules on there that I forgot to mention is you're not to have any alcohol, you're not to have any cheat meals. So there's 7 rules on there. I left those at the beginning, so I do apologize. You're not supposed to drink any alcohol. You're also not supposed to have any cheat meals. So with that structured diet plan, I didn't starve myself all day just so I can have pizza. I didn't starve myself all day just so I can have French fries, so to speak, to have like ice cream and which you can do, because at the end of the day, if you're just looking to lose weight, it's the laws of thermodynamics. And I understand some people on Twitter have been trying to get argumentative with their opinions on these things from other sources of people that they read about. Many of those people who are in it to make money, but you can't sell the laws of thermodynamics on this stuff. You can't. It's really that simple. When it comes to shedding body fat from your, shedding body fat off of your body, it is calories in versus out. It is a calorie deficit. There's no cheat code. There's no hack. There's no trick. There's no one weird trick. You quite literally have to be burning more than you are consuming, at which point your body will then use the fat, burn it, and then you breathe it out. That's how fat gets burned from your body. You exhale it out of your body. There's no way around it. So if anybody has any questions about that, you can talk to quite literally any nutritionist. That anybody out there, they're going to tell you the exact same thing when it comes to weight loss. There's just no simple way around it. But anyways, I can go on that forever. So I essentially ate a lot of the same. I ate the same thing almost every single day. I grocery shop for all my food, and I'm going to get to challenges in a moment. I did do some travel. I essentially ate the same thing every day. Breakfast, I've talked about on the show, low carb keto bread. The reason why carbs aren't the enemy, you don't need to give up a bread if you want to lose weight. It doesn't make any sense. People have been eating bread since before Christ. Let's be real. Bread's been out there for a long time. So there's this low carb keto bread. Regular bread, if you didn't know, has anywhere from 120 to 150 calories a slice. Low carb keto bread I had, 30 calories a slice, 4 grams of protein, also with fiber. Right there, 4 slices of that has just about the same amount of calories as 1 slice of Wonder Bread, so to speak. And then I would have 4 eggs, a slice of fat-free Borden's singles cheese. I had 2 egg and cheese sandwiches. My lunch, chicken thighs, vegetables, rice. My dinner, HEB sells ground sirloin beef patties. 1 beef patty was 270 calories, 30 grams of protein, 15 grams of fat. That was essentially what I ate every single day. Now, that didn't get me to my calorie goal. So what did I have in between? First Form has protein bars sold at a gas station down the road. So I would still supplement my protein and calories with healthier options like specific protein bars out there. NetRx is another one. 1 brand protein bar. First Form has protein bar. So something specifically designed with it, low in sugar as well, and lower in calories. That's what I ate. Now, when it came to that structured diet, I ran into challenges. I sometimes had chicken go bad. I had been traveling. There are places out there where you can get a whole food meal for a decent price that isn't a cheap meal. Chick-fil-A is one of these places. You can get a grilled chicken salad, a grilled chicken Cobb salad, or Southwestern spicy grilled chicken salad. That's something I can make at home. The justification for something not being a cheap meal, it had to be something I can eat at home. I would cook myself. Another good place, and shout out to Robert Bain, Strongest Man Logistics, for this one, but Panda Express, where you can get grilled chicken and rice. Something I would cook at home. So that was basically the rule of thumb. If I traveled, when I went to Broker Carrier Summit, I was on 75 Hard, I was able to portion out breakfast there. I went out to dinner to a steakhouse with some gentlemen, and instead of getting the 24-ounce cowboy T-bone or what have you, I got the 10-ounce sirloin, the asparagus, the broccoli as a side, and that's it. I went out on a boat on Memorial Day. That was the biggest one. If I knew Broker Carrier Summit, I would figure it out. I would probably just have to starve a little bit, wait till I can go get something healthy. Boat on Memorial Day. What did I do? I went to HEB. You're able to get fresh sushi made. And they give you the nutrition facts right on the sushi. So I got fresh sushi, cucumbers, which you didn't know, cucumbers essentially had no calories. Cucumbers, pineapple, strawberries, fruit. Fruit also at the same time was also sometimes part of my breakfast. I was running early in the morning. So it would be an apple, banana as well. Fruit is not a cheat meal. Also at the same time, where people villainize sugar, fruit is not bad. A lot of people out there in the keto realm, and there's a lot of fitness gurus on the internet that try to tell you stay away from fruit and all that stuff. But I've never met anybody who got fat or died from eating too much fruit. So let's take that out of the water. But enough about diet. That was the diet. I never had one cheat meal or anything. I never had any ice cream. I just got through it. I mean, we hosted a friend's birthday party, and we got a load of cupcakes. Everybody pre-gamed at the house on Friday. We had a bunch of cupcakes, a bunch of sweets here, and I had cucumbers with, by the way, this is my own hack. I get cucumbers with, and I douse them in vinegar and pour a little salt on. They're kind of yummy. Gets the fix done. So a little tip out there. Another macro hack, if you're looking out that for diet, fat-free Greek yogurt, Fage, fat-free Greek yogurt is a really good one. 1 tub of it, I believe it's a quart, would be the size. Not sure. Don't kill me on it. But the larger tub, the entire container is 450 calories with 90 grams of protein. And if you want to, you can add a scoop of protein powder in it, mix it around. And so you've added maybe 150 calories to it and 25 more grams of protein. If you If your heart desires, you can add a little granola or some crunch, stir it around, and you literally have makeshift protein ice cream in a way. And if you don't want the protein powder, you want to flavor that fat-free Greek yogurt, you can take like Mio, one of those like water sweeteners, squirt some Mio in there, mix it around. Great protein macro. So let's see. Garrett asked, what about canning food like chicken? I'll get this question out there. Canning food like chicken. So I'm assuming you're also maybe thinking tuna as well. I mean, that's the thing. When it comes to canned meat, it's not really a cheat meal. And it's not really this, and it's not like you're eating fried chicken. So that's the difference. I never had any fried chicken, so to speak, like from Bojangles or wherever you get fried chicken from. Like that is, if we're talking about canned chicken, that is quite literally just a grilled, lean white meat chicken. I mean, it counts, especially say you're somebody who's, for example, a pilot or a truck driver, for example, and you're looking to grocery shop, not eat at a truck stop. That's a perfect option right there if you're over the road or if you're a flight attendant or any sort of job where you're traveling quite often. It's a pretty good idea. And Garrett's saying, think it stores nicely in the truck, it's protein well pre-cooked, so you just warm it up. Couldn't be more on the money. So exactly right there for somebody who's driving. That's something you can keep right in your fridge. You got a microwave, heat it right up. I had one of the greatest things I had over the road. I picked up was off of it was a load I got off of Trucker Tools, by the way. Shout out Trucker Tools for Chop Tank. I went to pick up the load going from Maryland back to Costco, DC, outside of Houston. Might have been in Houston. Regardless, it was a bunch of tuna, and they had like a whole thing fall off a pallet or something. They were going to start it, and I had this huge box of like a couple hundred cans of tuna. I had it with me on my truck all the time. Canned tuna, perfect option for stuff like that. Great thing there. Basically, with the diet, I mean, it's just cut and dry. Your conscience knows if it's a cheat meal. You're starving yourself to eat pizza. Are you really doing the right thing? Like it's just that, doing the right thing when nobody's looking. So that's kind of what my diet was. Now the workouts. So 2 45-minute workouts a day. So a lot of people, this is where 75 hard gets a bad name, where people think you just got to go hard for 45 minutes for 75 days and you're going to overtrain and it's bad for you and it's bad for your heart. And again, you can go right on Andy Frisella's website, read this, but the workouts can't be consecutive. You can't just do them back to back or do a 90-minute workout. You need like a 2-3 hour gap between those workouts. Those 45-minute workouts can be functional training. Like, for example, walking, but it needs to be walking done with a purpose. You can't just be strolling at 2 miles an hour, dragging your feet. If you're going to go for a walk, make it be with a purpose. You should be power walking at between 3 and 4.5 miles per hour, or add a rucksack, or I had a 20-pound weighted vest, and you walk with a purpose. On those walks, I was getting anywhere from 2.25 to 2.5 miles every single time in 45 minutes. A lot of times I walked longer than 45 minutes. I would be on the phone doing whatever. One of my 45-minute workouts, 45-minute yoga session at Orange Theory by a yoga instructor, so a yoga flow. That's the thing. Some of these 45-minute workouts don't just have to be HIIT style training or CrossFit or something that's breaking you off all the time, because at the end of the day, it's not how professional athletes train. So it's not realistic at the same time, and it can lead to injury. So those 45-minute workouts don't always have to be strictly running, because running every day you can overtrain, especially if you don't know your zones. I'm not going to go off the cup of that. Most of my workouts were going to Orange Theory, the benefit of working there, but still hard to work it around because I do coach a lot of classes. I had to cover for a lot of coaches who were out. I had coaches who called out sick. I'm the manager. So there's times I have to be different places. So to fit in those workouts, especially if I'm coaching in the afternoon, means showing up super early because I have other work I need to do during the day. So I still need to schedule that time. But most of it was Orange Theory. That was probably my primary workout, which are 60-minute workouts. A lot of my outdoor workouts were 45-minute swims, outdoor, and an outdoor pool. I would incorporate drills in those. Ancillary stuff I had done, I had gone for cycling rides and longer rides. 45-minute walks were also done outside. Peloton also came in handy. And then I did other events at the same time that qualify as a workout. For ran the CapTex Triathlon on Memorial Day. I did a Spartan race up in Burnett, Texas. I ran a 10K. There's a couple of it. I did the DecaFit competition in Austin. So there are a couple of events I did that also come in there. That could be another thing to keep you motivated if doing 75 hardest for you, is to sign up for running events or biking events. Sign up for whatever's going on this summer where you're at. But essentially, that's the workout. And I will tell you, it definitely got hard, specifically on Sundays, are my biggest challenge. Sundays, I coach 3 classes in the morning, a 7:30, 8:45, and 10 a.m. My Sunday, and here's the thing: I don't have kids. I understand that, and for some people, they'll be like, "Oh, you don't have kids or whatever." But there's people who've done this who have kids, regardless. But I do. I'm still married and still have a social life. I have friends, and I'm engaging, making content. I'm engaging with all members of Orange Theory and talking to drivers, etc. So it's not like I'm not. It's not like I don't have nothing to do. So on Sundays, I would wake up early, super early, get my walk in, eat, then go coach 3 classes. Sometimes go to church. Sometimes come straight home, get the second walk, and then go hang out with my friends, spend time with my wife. I mean, that stuff's important. You don't want to do these things to, you do these things to get better, not do these things to become distant or what have you. Those are the biggest challenges. Going to Kansas City, challenge. I had to wake up, work out early, fly to Kansas City. As soon as I got to the hotel, I went for another workout. That's when I ran into Paul from Freight Caviar in the lobby. As soon as I got back to the run, it's inconvenient. That's the main thing. Is most of the days, and this is why 75 hard is so symbolic, because in retrospect, doing those tasks is not that hard. What's hard is not messing up one of those days, because for the most part, and this is the thing, it's the reason why it exists. It's especially for people who are having a hard time wrestling down the consistency. So that's why it's such a good program, because it will help you with consistency. I wasn't really suffering much from consistency. I had to get myself ready enough to be in a position to even do this. That's why sometimes 75 hard is for everybody, but that's why it's hard, is you can't skip a day, you can't miss a day, because normally it really doesn't matter. As long as you can consistently stack wins days at a time, and you go 8 days pretty good, and then you go out to the baseball game or whatever, as long as you're right back to your good routine afterwards, it's really not that much of a problem. That's why I think it's difficult. This is conversation. Going into the 10 pages, this one's the sneakiest. 10 pages in the photo. So we'll start running through this quick. The 10 pages in the photo are the ones that will sneak up on you. I have been in bed, lights off, and then gone gasping, being like, "Oh, take the picture." And I went to a 2-day country music festival, Georgetown, Texas, and it was 11 p.m. when we were leaving. I had everything else done for the day, 10 pages read, all workouts done, and we were in the parking lot. And I was like, "Gotta take my shirt off. Gotta take this photo." It's inconvenient, and that's the thing. That's another thing that it became a sober reminder for, is the inconveniences that start to hit you throughout life. They hit you during 75 hard. There have been times where I just want to lay down. It's been a long day. I watched as I had 28,000 steps. I did the 2 workouts, meaning I swam 1.5 miles and did an Orange Theory workout on Beat Street. I got to pick up that book and also through 10 pages. Those are the 2 ones that will sneak up, the picture and that. But essentially that, and then the gallon of water was automatic. That was probably the easiest part for me. That's something I've been doing. I drank a gallon of water even when I was still over the road. That's not the biggest problem. That's something everybody should do. And if you are working out that much, you probably physically need to be drinking that much water anyways. So when it comes to reading the 10 pages, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do 75 hard, what wanted to push me, wasn't so much to expedite any more weight loss. I had been on a good path forward. I've been on a good path since 2018 with my habits. I had started the year, beginning of the year, I was about 203. By the end of Orange Theory's Transformation Challenge, I was in 195, 193. I started 75 hard April 1st at 193. I finished on the last day, that Friday morning, at 171, 172, floating around there. But the reason why I really wanted to do it was to get me in a good habit of getting that I read like one book last year, the Napoleon biography, which you should still read. 75 Hard, I read 5 books. 5 books I read were Outlive by Peter Attia, Never Finished, which is David Goggins' second book. I read Do the New You by Stephen Furtick. I read Sebastian Junger In My Time of Dying. And I also read this one that escaped me. I can't even think of the title. I want to keep rolling because I don't want to run short of time. And in each of those, I'm sure there's somebody on YouTube. Anyways, so kickstarting that. I'm already now on a couple. Somebody's commenting, person blue building. I'm going to ignore this now. Somebody irrelevant. Anyways, I wanted to get in more habit of reading books. I was given a book by, which I'm going to actually post up. I was given a book by one of the members I coach at Orange Theory. I'm reading Tia Toomey's book. She's a successful CrossFitter. She's won the CrossFit Games. She's gone to Rio for Australia with her weightlifting team. So I'm already still reading. I haven't done it every night, but I'm still 60, 70 pages into the Tia Toomey book. So I'll help build that habit. Now, some things. Does 75 hard work? Yes. Started it at 193. Ended it at 171, 172. I pigged out the 2 days after. I still haven't drank since Matt's. So that's another thing I'm stuck with. And that's one of the things I'm wrestling with right now because I feel like a finely tuned Corvette. My training couldn't be better. My Garmin has my VO2 max in the 50s. I am training for Ironman events and triathlon, so it's not like going out drinking is going to serve me that well. That's almost how I'm looking at it. I look at things now as how's this serving me? I look at food. Okay, how's this benefiting me? Is what I'm putting in my body going to help or hurt? Is going out drinking going to help or hurt? And I've gone out, went out for a birthday party on Friday. Was on South Congress with some friends. That's the thing. I don't really have a desire for it. And it's just so weird because there were plenty of times before 75 hard and before I really started honing in on fitness and triathlons where I didn't want to drink. But there's also times where I really much look forward to it, like 4th of July, which I'm still on the fence about. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do next week. Might be a game time decision. We'll see. But the mood isn't striking. I don't have a craving for it anymore. It's like it's been out of my system for so long. I don't really care. And when I look at what it leads my next, because here's the thing, when it comes to alcohol, is it has no health benefits whatsoever. You're drinking empty calories. When you consume alcohol, your body completely stops what it's doing. It doesn't burn fat, doesn't burn calories, and it tries to get the alcohol out of your system. So me being a health nut now, thinking about that, what's the point of having 3-4 beers or 1 glass of bourbon? I'm not going to feel anything from it. And I'm just putting, a toxin in my body. I'll get puffy. I'll probably wake up with a little bit of brain fog. And for what? So it's just like the pros don't outweigh the cons anymore. So it's something I'm wrestling with. Who knows? We'll see how I come back to it. That's definitely one of the biggest benefits. Overall sleep is better. Weight's down. I wish I got a DEXA scan before 75 hard, but it's just like finding the time to go get up to North Austin is just kind of difficult. But I am sub 10% body fat. I'm at 9.7% body fat. The DEXA had me at 178 based off the lean mass. So the numbers are very good where I am. The program can work if you stick with it. It can definitely set you up on success. Now this is where it leads me to is, should truck drivers be trying to attempt 75 hard? I wouldn't recommend drivers try to do this. I wanted to do it when I was up the road, just with the clout of saying I did it as a trucker, but it's just not conducive to the lifestyle. And it's not conducive to several other people's lifestyles, depending on where you're at family-wise, depending on where you're at career-wise. Like, it might not work out because you might have to screw up a day. Like, it's just the way it goes. And it doesn't mean you suck, or it doesn't mean you're lame if you can't do it. It's just, you just got to play the ball where it lies, which is something we talk about. Like, the reason why I didn't do it over the road is essentially because you will have to sacrifice sleep in some of these instances. And I just don't think it's conducive for a driver to sacrifice any more sleep than they have to already just to complete like this mental toughness program. The job is hard and strenuous enough as it is. There's no reason to double down on it by adding 75 hard to it. Now, if you know you're like, I'm not saying every trucker shouldn't do it. It really depends on your schedule. It probably would have been more possible for me to do it in my most recent role of doing heavy haul because none of what I did was expedited. And the thing is, when it comes to the workouts at the same time, you can't count something that's a part of your job as a workout. So tarping down a load or strapping it or chaining it doesn't count. But with things not being expedited and not having to run the gun all the time, and there are plenty of time you can't deliver on weekends a lot. It might have worked. All I do, like when I consider my schedule and just how things work, but still, at the end of the day, I don't think truckers need to be doing this. Not everyone needs to be doing it as well. But what I have designed is what I believe is a habit building program drivers can do. And I think that no matter where you are in realm of your health and fitness, it's also something everyone could do. So whether you are already a marathon runner or you are very much at risk, by at risk, overweight or you've already lurched into possible chronic diseases. We call this the Lombard 69. Let's get right into it. So it'll follow the same thing. It's only a couple different bit of rules. And it's not as strict, but for 69 days, here's the challenge. I'll write this out and I'll probably have it pinned somewhere. But the strict diet thing, very hard to just do that right away as a driver, especially if your diet's not in check. So to demand that for a trucker, habit building challenge, just say follow a structured diet, whatever it might be, not that conducive, especially because my goal and everything that I'm doing, especially content wise, with Super Coffee and all this, isn't about making people into marathon runners. It's simply about making people live better lives and whatever winning looks like for them, be able to help write that story. Not everyone's going to run a marathon. Not everyone is going to do triathlon. Not everyone has to. It's not the point. But everyone deserves more life, better life, and to live better. And this is something I think that can help build some habits to do that. Because at the end of the day, if you do not wrestle down and hone in on your health, it doesn't only cost you, it will cost the ones around you. It's always a reminder. So number one, instead of a structured diet, so to speak, 100 grams of protein a day minimum. Get 100 grams of protein or more. So this might require the investment of downloading the First Form app or MyFitnessPal, or somehow tracking, whether it's saving the nutrition facts and back, taking pictures of them. 100 grams of protein every single day. Now, you should be eating 1 gram of protein per pound of goal or ideal body weight. So if you want to weigh 170 pounds, you need to be consuming it. For 75 days, have regularly consumed over 250 grams of protein every single day. DEXA scan proves it, given my lean mass is in the top 2% of people and holds at just about 155 pounds of lean mass. So I clearly built muscle and lost fat while during 75 hours. But it's a great habit to get into. I'm doing this specifically with one of my members at Orange Theory. She has a certain way. I said, start here. So this is somewhere every trucker could probably start. Male or female, it doesn't matter. But I mean, especially women need to be getting it more so because your bodies are set up differently and you guys do a bunch of different stuff with kids and stuff, all that. I'm not a woman, so I don't know much, but women do. But from the women I know in the fitness industry, they can attest. You need protein too. So one. By the way, it's the Lombard 69. For 69 days, you got to do it. A little bit short. 100 grams of protein per day, every single day. That is doable. Garrett just mentioned the chicken. We got tuna. Love's has been a bunch of protein bars. They got hard-boiled egg. You can grocery shop. Plan ahead. 2, 7,000 steps or more per day. The 2 45-minute workouts, again, we talked about time. You can, as a trucker, get 7,000 steps a day or more. You can piece together the 5, 10-minute windows when you are at a shipper, receiver. If you're a flatbedder, you're going to get these steps. These steps count. Work-related steps count. All. So if you got a smartwatch, you got Strava on your phone, some way to track your steps. 7,000 or more steps per day. Count on it. Just do it. If you can only take a 10-hour break, only spend, you do it in 10-minute interval if you have to. 10 minutes of walking, 5 minutes rest. 10 minutes of walking, 5 minutes rest. Put your mind to the test. Get to 7,000 steps and go straight to bed. Just hit 7,000. 3, in lieu of a gallon, 2 liters of water every day. You definitely should be doing this. Hydration is super important. I know for a fact you guys got the jugs. See them at the truck stop. So I don't want to hear the bathroom stuff as an excuse. 2 liters of water a day. Stick with this one. Read 10 pages of the nonfiction. You can do this. Reading 10 pages quite literally takes 10 minutes or less. Has to be a nonfiction book. We're not reading fantasy novels or dragon smut. We're reading something that's going to make us better. And caveat, little caveat, little thing to it. If you have not read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, start with that book. Start with 10 pages of that. But reading the 10 pages, very good habit. Always be learning from other people. And take the progress picture. Might not be perfect, might not be special. It could be a selfie, just anything. Just take a photo of yourself. Bonus. So this is depending on when you get home. Some people live on the road. Bonus. You go to home time, you do 1 45-minute weightlifting workout. So that's going to Gold's Gym or wherever. But that right there, I'm going to list that out in the show notes. I believe that if a truck driver does that for 69 days, you will see a difference in how you feel. And oh yeah, I left out also no alcohol. We're doing that one too. But I didn't want to leave that out. No drinking for 69 days. I get it. Blah, 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 but I'm home. I deserve it. I get it. Take a break. I'm not telling you not to have fun. I'm not telling you to give up drinking forever. But I'm just saying, try it. Try it. I believe that if for 69 days you can do that, it'll start to change your life and it'll change your habits. It's going to change how you view yourself. It's going to build your self-confidence. It's going to build your self-worth. Checking off those boxes every day. You write it in a planner. Check. That releases a dopamine hit in your head. When you check it off, I would check off my tasks in the 75 hour, my brain gives a little thing, gives a little dopamine hit. You start to feel good. You will start to feel better about yourself if you're able to do those things over the course of 69 days. That's what this is all about. This is what everything I'm doing is all about. I can't tell you how much my heart is truly in this. Just about every member I coach with at Orange Theory knows full well that my heart is in it with, that I truly care, that the words I say aren't empty. I'm not there for, I could work a bunch of other places. Number one, I could probably, there's so many other places I could go or jobs I can get, whether they be in logistics or at sales somewhere. There's a lot I could, but I don't care. If it was about the money, I wouldn't even be talking right now. If it was about the money, I wouldn't be making up a 69-day mental fitness challenge that truckers can do. I wouldn't even be talking with Super Puppy. I wouldn't be doing anything. Like I said, my heart is in it. You can call it mission from God, whatever you want to call it. That's what I feel as though it's like. At the end, but and at the same time, I'm also doing it to honor my family. People don't do that anymore. But, we lived in a country that was built on family business, small business. All that stuff's going away. All that stuff's dying. Nobody cares about that stuff anymore. It's all about shareholders and KPIs and all that stuff. Well, guess what? None of that built America. Okay, KPIs and shareholders and this and all that nonsense, all that business jargon that all these people talk about in their long threads on Twitter, talking about like, I started an econ thing in my college dorm and this is blah, blah, all that like nonsense that they just have some dude in the Philippines ghostwrite. That's all crap. That's not what built America. What built America were companies like my family's company, like the original lumber. What built America were those types of stores, family businesses in small towns, all that stuff in the Midwest. You follow my boy Rust Belt Kid on Twitter. That type of stuff. That's what built America. And that's what I care about. That's what we need to get back to. That's what I'm trying to help get this back to. But it starts with it. It It starts with wanting to get people to take autonomy, take back control of themselves. Because once again, I was at the bottom of a mountain at one point. In 2018, I can't tell you how at the bottom of a mountain felt like I was, especially when I was at my heaviest, thinking, this is it, this is over. I was 28 years old, Mike, and I quite literally remember just to be like, this is it. This is what life is. I guess my best days are behind me. And maybe you feel that way, but I'm telling you, you couldn't be any more wrong. So let's do it together. Whatever winning looks like for you, whoever's watching this out there, see, we got some live viewers out on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Whatever winning looks like for you, I want to be a part of writing that story for you guys. And I want to leave you with this. This is a good amount of information. This is just good info. So I also read The Comfort Crisis by Mike Easter, which is a great book. Can't recommend that book enough. And when it comes to it, they talk about the concept of time in it, where as you get older, you start to hear people say, I can't believe it's already summer, or I can't, it's already Monday and the weekend goes by so fast. People's concept of time continues to go by quickly. And the reason for that has a lot to do with the fact that we don't, as people anymore, so in general, humans are comfort seekers. We're always going to find a way out of an uncomfortable situation. It took us thousands of years to finally do it, but now look, we don't need to hunt. We don't need to build shelters. We don't need to do quite literally. Comfort is relatively easy to find, but through that, we're kind of working in somewhat of a reverse. And through that comfort and repetition of doing the same thing all the time, so going to work and doing the same job, driving the same route, doing this, all of that, it condenses our brain's view of time. And he goes into the science. So I'm not even going to try to put it into words. But when it comes to, if you want to do 75 hard, hit me up. I'd be more than willing to help you through it, kind of be your accountability buddy for it. It's something I definitely would like to probably do once a year. So before I walk this one out, what I will say on my end, the reason why, and especially why, there's phase one and phase two. And phase one is only 30 days. You do the exact same stuff as 75 hard, but you add doing a power list and a cold shower. Unfortunately, I live in Texas. And my shower doesn't get cold. So I'm not really too concerned about that because for the most part, I'm doing some of those things anyways. But the 2 45-minute workouts a day, not conducive for what I want to do. I'm going for 70.3 and I'm going for full Ironman. I'm going to have some 20-hour training weeks. I'm going to have some 6-hour Saturdays of a 40-mile bike and a 10-mile run. I don't got time for 2 45-minute, workouts. I've got to get actual good, purposeful training done. But it is still something I'd like to do once a year just to keep the dial toned in on it. So depending on what my training regimen becomes, because when it comes to triathlon, yes, I am raising money, and that's the foundation of this for Wreaths Across America. And I'm doing but at the end of the day, I am doing these to honor veterans and to raise awareness of everything that you talked about in this episode, especially the driver health epidemic. But I'm going to keep doing these events, and I'm not in my 50s and 60s. I'm at a good age to not only start, but to continue to get competitive. I'm not talking about just running these to finish. I'm talking about getting on podiums. That's where my head's at. That's where I'm going. You got to go hammer down. Why not? The question is, why not? Yeah, I can do these for fun and stay healthy. Why not win at the same time? Especially if it's possible, especially when I know it's possible. But so that's essentially my entire after action report. The pros, so before I walk this one out, the pros, cut weight, got my body fat down, got me really dialed in, and got me back in the pool very, very regularly, read 5 books. I've got a clear, sober mind. My sleep has been, phenomenal. There's just so much, my drive for wanting to help people has only grown more and more every single day. The more and more I gave into 75 hard, the more and more I gave into it and sacrifice, the more I just want to keep giving. So I don't know how to put it in words, but I'm just, I continue to make content. It's on top of things. It definitely was an experience I won't forget. I can't appreciate the support enough. Number one, from my wife. So that's the thing. I really can't appreciate her enough. She's had my back throughout the whole time. But every single one of you, especially you guys watching, every one of you guys on your support has rallied for it. People clapping it up on Instagram, like people wanted to see me see it. The only cons, really, like I said, is as per my training moves forward, it's really the only con is it's not conducive to training for triathlon. Another con I want to touch on, I'm glad that I caught myself in this, is something I've been hearing lately. It's something I've heard the past couple of years a little bit, is if you do something like this, when you do start to make a change, when you use alcohol less, when you start taking care of your health, there's people out there who've said it right to me, not to my face, of course, but via text. There's people who always say, you've changed, and I miss the old you. And I've even had people jokingly say, I miss Fat Mike. And they say it jokingly, but the truth is, when people say that, and they say you've changed, or I miss the old you, number one, anybody who's told me they miss the old me hasn't made a conscious effort to come out and see me, or seen, or like, that's really it. They haven't made a conscious effort to, be super active in friendship with me. Realize I probably have become a better friend and person than I have ever been in the past 5.5 years. And when people say things like that, I miss that Mike, I miss the old you. It's an outward projection of some of their own insecurities, so to speak. It's because they know deep down they don't have the drive, and they don't have the gall or the guts to kind of go after the same things you're going for that I'm going for. And that's what they miss. They miss. So it's an outward projection of their own shortcoming. That's why people say they miss the old me, stuff like that. And trust me, I know I'm a fun guy to drink with, but I've been the same guy to drink with. The only difference is I probably speak a little bit quieter, probably not as loud, which still an argument there. I'm still pretty loud, sober or not. And but I haven't given up drinking. I've never said I'm going sober forever. I've never given up pizza, never given up burgers, not giving anything up. Nothing's changed. It's not like I've joined some cult, or it's not like I'm off the grid, or I'm telling you to, I'm not doing any of that garbage. Okay, so that's the thing. If you're gonna tell me you miss the old me, if I'm gonna hear any crap like that, look in the mirror before you tell me you miss the old me, or you miss Fat Mike, or you've changed. And the thing is, if I haven't changed in the past 5 years, then I'm doing something wrong. If I haven't changed, then I clearly haven't gotten any better, and there's probably something really wrong with me. If you're the same guy you were 5 years ago, then don't be looking at me, or don't be looking at others for maybe where you're at. So that's the last time I'm ever going to touch on it. I don't know whether or not the people who have said that to me, quite honestly, listen to this show, which I don't really matter. It doesn't really matter if they listen to it or not. But it's just the context, because it's something that I've heard friends of mine talk to me about, that they've dealt with, is either losing friends or stuff like that. Things move on. But I'm not looking to be around people who hold me back at the end of the day, or trying to drag me down. Oh, I miss the old you. Oh, so you don't want to associate with the guy who's trying to run triathlons to raise money for America's veterans? Thanks for letting me know that, and also thanks for letting me know that you're projecting your own shortcomings of not wanting to go for a walk at the end of your day. But whatever. But enough on that, because we're hammered down. We're eyes forward. And if you got any questions, we got a little bit of time. Drop some questions below in the chat if you got any, regards. I've only got a couple minutes left here. Once again, typical Lombard. I thought this was going to be like 30 minutes, but me, once the mind starts working, I just keep rolling. But I wanted to leave you with this. So, remember, I coach. And this is crazy about triathlons. So if you're interested in triathlons, everything I read talks about heart rate based interval training. And especially if you're not over the road driving, can't recommend Orange Theory enough for this. I know I'm biased, but I have a 71-year-old triathlete who trains at Orange Theory for that reason. She just ran 70.3 in Chattanooga, 71. Talk about a beast. She bought me this book, Triathlon, Winning at 70.3. Man, this guy comes out with a banger. I wanted to leave you guys with this out there. Personal growth only comes through challenges. We learn nothing from staying in our comfort zone. I notice that as we get older, many people do nothing in their lives that really challenges them. Whilst it is easy to stay comfortable, there is no juice within the comfort zone. The juice, the joy, the adrenaline in life comes from hard work. Then the self-respect of having pushed yourself to the limit and overcome many challenges and obstacles along the way. So that's what I leave you with. If you're out there, if you're looking for a challenge, if you're wondering why time is flying by, if you are, feeling stuck, try something new. Could be anything. Go to a polka class. Go to a yoga class. Go to an archery class. Find something. Anything. Doesn't have to be running. Doesn't have to be like anything crazy. Something. And just try it. It could be ballet for all that matters. Start trying new things. Why not? And then just go all in. When you go all in on new things, you're going to notice. Because I can tell you, 75 hard for me did not fly by. It feels like forever ago, April 1st. Like it felt like a far cry. Like it took a long time. That like it's July 4th. I'm like, finally, instead of saying, oh, it's already 4th of July, I'm like, finally, it's 4th of July. That's what it can do. So we can do new things. You always challenge yourself and raise the bar. That's when things get a little bit better. And last thing, when it comes to goals, when it comes to trying those new things, if they're not somewhat scaring you, if goals aren't scaring you or opportunities aren't scaring you, then they're not high enough. They need to make you feel uncomfortable. When a goal or a job offering makes you feel uncomfortable, we talked about this in the last episode with Reed. He knew that his new job was going to put him in a position, was going to make him uncomfortable, but learn a bunch of new stuff. And if you're in a position to where you have a goal, but you know you're going to get to it, it's just maybe going to take time. Like it's just, yeah, I know I'm going to hit it and I'm going to smash it, but it'll take 2 weeks. Set the bar higher. Go higher. You want that goal to kind of put a little bit of fear. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm quite afraid of a full Ironman challenge. Do I believe I can do it? Do I believe my mind is there? Yes. But I'm genuinely afraid of approaching it because it's a training style I haven't approached yet. The training I'm looking forward to, the two biggest things, especially as a guy who's lost over 100 pounds in his life and who just did 75 hard and is, read Goggins' books, is so the nutrition and the incorporating rest days and tapering. I've only tapered once, and that was during high school swimming. That's because our coach programmed us to taper during the couple weeks leading up to regional and state championship. So when it comes to rest days, incorporating that, and the nutrition of knowing that I'm going to have to eat 4,000 calories sometimes in a day, and to get my mind comfortable enough to want to do that, knowing what eating has done to me in the past. That makes me afraid. That lets me know I'm in the right spot. But other than that, that's a 75 hard after action report. Appreciate you, Garrett, for tuning in. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Next episode, should be filming it live Tuesday afternoon. We've got an amazing guest lined up. We've been talking for a couple months. Got it right at her on Instagram, like right before she blew up. She's gained a really good niche following in the fitness industry. And in transportation, not a trucker. She's a flight attendant herself. So it counts in transportation, but she has a lifestyle that is unconventional and different. And so I'm excited to have her on the show. She's finally got some time off. She's not in the air. We've got that set up. Hope to go live with that on Tuesday. So stay tuned. Get out on all the socials at Lombard Trucking. You know where to find me. And again, we are training for 7.3 in Waco this October. We will be in Arlington in December, Race Across America. We will continue to raise money for Race Across America all the way. We're going to keep going, and especially all the way going to Ironman Texas in the Woodlands next year. If you want to get involved with this, sponsorships, we're talking in any sort of way. You want to, you just want to talk offline on how we can keep elevating this mission of changing the culture of health and fitness in the transportation industry, reach out to me. My email is also mike@lombardtrucking.com. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We're going back to the bench.